Manchester United Football Club is on a serious hunt for a new centre-back who will partner Lisandro Martinez for the longer good. Welcome to the United Hotspot. My name is Webb, and here I am to tell you about the latest coming through from Man United as we do build up to the start of a new era under Sir Jim Ratcliffe. The first summer transfer window is just a few months away, and it is expected to be a busy one for Man United because the idea is to sell players, qualify for the Champions League, make more money, and have more money available for us to make signings. Now, the latest, and we do know for a fact, and it has been confirmed by Fabrizio as well, that Man United's main position that we do want to solve in the summer is the centre-back department. And it is almost a matter of time for us until we confirm that Raphael Varane will be leaving the club, because the two parties, United and Varane, have not agreed on new terms because the United wants to cut down on his wages. Varane is yet to agree on those new terms. We are still at a stalemate like we were in the last transfer window. Well, the focus for Varane was to finish this season and see what to do going forward. But it looks likely that Varane will be leaving United because the reality is Sir Jim and Ineos want to focus on youngsters. Now, we've been linked to so many players, and the latest is that Manchester United, like we saw reports that Sir Jim and Ineos were willing to sanction a £100 million buying of João Neves, the Portuguese Benfica midfielder. It is said that the other player that Ineos are so interested in is Jared Branthwaite. That is the 21-year-old English international who plays for Everton. He was loaned to several clubs, including PSV, young PSV and the likes. But he's now clearly a main guy at Everton, and it is said that, of course, we know that Everton will want money because they do have the financial fair play man to face. If they don't sell players in the summer, they certainly will suffer. And Branthwaite is one of those who they can sell. But his price tag for me, whereas he's a good player, he's 21, has played a couple of games in the Premier League, he's a key player, and he's tried and tested in the English Premier League. I think for me, the reason why he's not top for me, a top target for me, is the price tag. He goes for £75 million, which I think is a little on the high side for Manchester United. I feel like there are cheaper options who can give us exactly or even better than what he can give us. The age is right. He's 21, and like I said, the focus is on young players. But I think £75 million, which is expected to be his price tag for Everton to cash in on him, is a bit on the high side. So whereas the rumor is saying that United are willing to sanction that to go on, because Omar Berada is working behind, of course, closed doors as it is now, whereas he's on a gardening leave. He's still, of course, contributing to whatever decisions are being made now. I honestly think, for me, Branthwaite might not be that. Now, the other player who could be looked at, United has been mentioning for a long time to replace Raphael Varane, has been a little boy called Antonio Silva. He's a 20-year-old Portuguese international who plays for Benfica. That's the same club as the João Neves I was talking about yesterday. Now, Antonio Silva is a giant of a player. He's tall, he's big, he's got the experience. He has played in the Champions League as well. Whatever we can talk about in terms of experience, João Neves, we can say about Antonio Silva. I think their development has been the same. But the thing is, the price is way too high. 100 million euros for me, he would have been a good option. But 100 million euros, again, is on the higher side for me. I think it's a lot of money for him. And I think these players, being 21 and being, defenders and centre-backs, we are still, whereas Branthwaite, for example, has been tried in the Premier League. For Antonio Silva, it will be, again, a gamble. We don't know whether it will work. So you cannot risk 100 million euros on a centre-back, really. For me, I think that's on the higher side. And we know that Portuguese clubs are always difficult when it comes to negotiations. I think they always make it difficult to negotiate, especially if you're Man United. So I still think he's a good player, but I don't think he's the player Man United would go for in this summer transfer window, given that now it looks clear that whereas the centre-back department is the main department we need to solve, there are so many other departments as well that are clearly, glaringly in need of a hand. The left back is another important one, and we'll talk about that. Then we've got to get a striker. The right wing is still another department that is confusing. Is Greenwood coming back, or are we going for Michael Olise? Olise himself could cost something over £50 million, 50 or 60 million pounds. So you think about Olise, think about a centre-back, think about a holding midfielder, a partner for Kobe Maino. think about a backup striker for Rasmus Højlund, and you're clearly, or a replacement for Anthony Martial, and you see that, and then the left back, you see that we need to spend a lot of money. So I don't think we would go and spend 100 million euros on a 21-year-old Antonio Silva, however promising he is. That is why it leaves me with the one option that I think is the one player Man United could go for in the summer. I think he's 24 years of age, which is, he was born in December, the last day of the year, 30th December. So at 24, that's a bit mature age. He has played more football than Antonio Silva and Branthwaite, and he's a player we've been linked with for the longest time. That's none other than Jean-Claire Todibo. So for me, I think Todibo is the viable option for Man United to go for in the summer because he has played more football. It's highly likely that Nice is going to qualify for the Champions League from France this season. He has been through Barcelona. He has been through it. He's 24. That's good age for a player, almost getting to that ripe age for a footballer. Him partnering with Lisandro Martinez, but also the fact that he gives us another dimension that he can play right back as well. I feel for me, and his price tag, I think if we are to sign Todibo, we could have to cough something between 35 to 45 million pounds. Now, for me, that's not a lot of money to spend on such a player. So you think about all that, and I'm thinking this is the logical, viable option of a player for Manchester United to go for in this summer transfer window. So of all the defenders we are looking at to replace Raphael Varane, who is most likely going to leave, I think for me, Jean-Claire Todibo is still number one. He's the top option. In terms of the age, he's a little more experienced than the others. He's cheaper. He's a player who is, of course, closer to United than the rest. So it will be easier for us to negotiate with Nice than it would be for us to negotiate with Benfica for these two Portuguese players. Yet we also know we might go to them for Joao Neves. So I feel for me, I would still go for Jean-Claire Todibo for the centre back position. But still talking the centre back, of course, while Varane is most likely going to leave, there is still uncertainty about Harry Maguire because the situation is as it was. United are hoping to get a decent offer for Harry Maguire before you offload him. Remember, West Ham tabled £30 million for him in the last summer, but United felt that was not enough. So if we get an offer that's good enough, Maguire will leave. If not, he will stay and be part of the rotation, which I don't think would be the worst of ideas. Whereas he's aging, one of the players at the evening of their ages and careers, I feel for me, if we bring in a new player, a young player, you need a good, decent player to be part of the rotation. And Maguire can give you that if we do not get a decent offer. Remember, we paid £80 million for him, honestly. We cannot afford to lose Raphael Varane for virtually nothing. Then we lose Maguire as well for peanuts. I think then it won't make sense in terms of what we need to do if we are going to buy players. We would rather keep him and let him, help the young players, but also be part of the rotation. Because where we're headed, certainly we'll play so much football, and we shall need a certain level of experience from players like Maguire. So that's the situation when it comes to the centre-back problem at Manchester United. We are looking at many players. Branthwaite is one. The Everton player is one they have spoken about, 75 billion. Look at Antonio Silva, 100 million euros. That's also close to 75 or 80 million pounds. Then look at Jean-Claire Todibo, who is about at most 45 million pounds. Then he's 24. The other two are 20 and 21. Braithwaite is 21. Then Antonio Silva is 20. Then you look at Bremer. They were speaking of Bremer. He's not a top target really. I don't think he will come to United. But the other three players are the top options. So any of those is the player we are most likely going to zero down on. But who of those, in your view, would make a lot of sense? But also, there is an option of keeping Varane because he's seeming to be fit lately. And Erik ten Hag was praising him, saying that he's one of those players. In an interview with Raphael Ferdinand, he was saying he was one of those players who set the standards when it comes to training. Him, Lisandro Martinez, Bruno Fernandes, and who else did he mention? The players who train, and Casemiro. These are the players who set standards when it comes to training. They train like professionals. The way they carry themselves, the way they apply themselves, there is a lot for the young players to learn from them. We do hope they do, and they train well, because that's what you need to do if you're going to play and win games of football at the topmost level. So the Central Defense Department is in that situation. I'll be back later to tell you more about the left back and, of course, the backup striker. I spoke about Joao Neves and the midfield department yesterday. I'll be here to talk about all the other departments a little bit later. My name is Webb. Subscribe to the United Hotspot. I'll catch you later.